Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to Nicole's Review. Nicole's Review, we have Talk That Matters. In this episode today, we have Mr. Tony Pierantozzi, as he is a superintendent for Somerville Schools. Mr. Pierantozzi, please tell me about you.
Well, I'm a very boring topic, Nicole, and thank you very much for having me. I've been the superintendent of schools in Somerville for 6 years. Before that, I was the superintendent of schools in the Denith-Yarmouth Regional School District on Cape Cod. And I also was a superintendent in New York State and a building principal and an assistant principal and a teacher for many years. So I've been in education many, many years.
Wow, this is excellent. I'm glad to have you here to interview you today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The first question, would you please tell me how your school deals with bilingual students and teachers? How do you communicate with bilingual students and their parents?
Certainly. About 52% of our students come from homes where English is not the primary language. So it's a challenge. We do a variety of things, and we think we do some of them well, but we're always in a mode of continuous improvement. So for example, when parents go in to have a conference with teachers, we do that 4 times a year. We actually have translators in the schools to translate for the teachers and for the parents in Haitian Creole, Spanish, and Portuguese, which are our target languages. And then if a parent of one of the many other languages needs translation, we invite them to bring someone with them, or we attempt to get an interpreter for them too, because it's really important that the teacher and the parent communicate. We also have a website that's loaded with information, and connected to our website, we have a system called Babelfish, where someone can go on and by clicking a button, can translate the page by page into one of 34 different languages.
Wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
We also have a welcome center at our high school where multilingual staff members help with registering or problems or issues that students may have. And our parent information center is staffed by 6 people, all of whom are multilingual.
Wow. Wow, this is amazing. I grew up in Somerville. I know, I went to Somerville High School. It's always been a really challenge for a lot of students, you know, to communicate. But from days, I'm not saying when I graduate, but now I heard the students have tons of help and support with that. I'm very happy to hear that.
Yeah, we've been increasing our English language learning support over the last 5 years. But, you know, when you graduated in 2000, for example, we might not have had the same level of staffing.
I like that. On that note, now I have a question about the renovation that is coming up with the East Community School. Now, when is that, and how are you planning on starting that? Would this project affect education for students?
Yeah, the East Somerville Community School had a major fire in December of 2007. We went through negotiations with the insurance company and negotiations with the Massachusetts School Building Authority, and we have already actually begun the renovations. The demolition work has been done.
Wow.
And very soon we will begin the construction work. The school will be the same size. It will have about 118,000 square feet.
Wow.
And the unique thing about the East Somerville Community School is it's really a community center that serves as a school during the day.
Yes.
Because in Somerville we don't have many auditoriums, for example. We only have 2 in the entire city. One's at the high school, and we will be renovating an auditorium in East Somerville Community School that will seat about 380 people.
Wow.
It also has a very large gymnasium, which our student athletes use and the community members use. East Somerville Community School is basically used from 6 a.m. to about 10 or 11 p.m. basically every day that's not a holiday.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to it opening, and right now the plan is that it will reopen in January of 2013.
Okay. Now, how many schools are there in Somerville?
There's 10.
Oh, wow. I should know, but
That's okay.
yeah, yeah.
And we have K-8 schools. We don't have middle schools.
Okay.
And then we have an early childhood center and an alternative school, the Next Wave Full Circle.
Okay.
And then, of course, the very comprehensive high school where we have our own vocational education programs right in our own high school. We have
Yes.
14 what's called Chapter 74 programs, which are vocational education programs.
Very good to know. Thank you. And now in Somerville, I know that the Somerville entered the National Day competition. Mm-hmm. Would you tell us about that?
Sure. That's the History Day competition. And we did send, I think, 5 students to the national championships in Maryland this year. It was at the University of Maryland. That's really focused at the Kennedy School. Mm-hmm. It's an example of something we have in place in all of our school, which is a multimedia project for middle school age students, 7th and 8th graders. Mm-hmm. So students at the Kennedy School use their multimedia project as an entrance, if they choose, into the National History Day competition. And we have a local competition at the Kennedy School, then we go to the state level, and students move on to the national level. And they learn about both local history and, of course, international and national history. So you may see projects about the Wright brothers and airplanes, or famous minority individuals in history.
Everything.
Yep. The Negroes in baseball leagues, rocket science, anything.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's really fascinating, and I enjoy it every year.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yep.
Now, how long have your school been participating?
We've been participating in National History Day for about 12 years.
Wow. Wow, this is great. Yep. This is excellent.
Yeah, it's really what we call authentic learning. So it's not students learn from a book,
right,
take a test, and then move on.
Right.
It's students, research things themselves, and then they make a product.
Right, they get engaged.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that can be, we also have electronic portfolios for our high school students. So if a student does a really good History Day project on a videotape, for example, or now it's digital, of course, they can put that into their permanent electronic portfolio, so it stays with them. Students get so much out of it in terms of interpersonal reaction and interaction with one another, making a presentation in front of people. So there's a lot of skills that go into it.
Yeah, you gotta get the children involved, keep them busy.
Yep, busy on very constructive things that are interesting to them, that also have a base in something they can utilize for their future.
Yeah, because if you're not keeping them busy and the time, and especially these days in the online, that's another question that I'd like to ask you. What do you feel about the online communication with teachers and student online communication? What do you feel about that?
Well, there are some concerns certainly that I have about teachers and students having interaction online that's not about education. That's a concern. We have an acceptable use policy that really outlines the kinds of communications teachers and other staff members should have with students, obviously particularly minority students,
right,
who are less than 18 years old, who are minors. Not minority students, students who are minors.
Right, right.
And so we outlined that pretty carefully for our staff. For example, we asked our staff not to friend students on Facebook.
Exactly.
Because, and if they do have their own Facebook page that has their private information or private correspondence on it, we ask them not to share it with their students.
Right.
But we also have official websites for our schools and our classes and our teachers, where the educational material, I mean, our ultimate goal is for a student, for example, a student who's ill and can't go to school that day, to be able to go to a website
and communicate.
See what the class is doing and be able to do the work at home.
And someone will be monitoring that.
Right.
Yeah.
Or a parent who has a question to be able to communicate with a teacher in a very convenient way using emails. But there are some concerns, as I said. Yeah. So we try to only communicate appropriately, obviously, and with teachers need to be very careful about their personal interactions on the internet.
Yeah.
I know employers who now, before they're going to hire someone, they actually search Facebook and other, social, internet-based media.
Yeah.
And we all have to be careful of that.
Especially these days, with the safety.
Yeah, it's very, the bullying on the internet is a real concern.
Yeah.
And
it's hard.
It is.
To monitor that, because there's a lot of student out there, you don't know what the profile is all about.
That's
they
right.
could lie about their age.
That's right.
So you can't control.
There's a famous cartoon that I show sometimes. It's a dog sitting at a computer communicating with someone else, and of course the caption is, on the internet nobody knows that Fido is a dog.
That's pretty funny. I thought I heard something about that. Oh gosh, this is great. Now I have another question for you about the 100 best community for young children. Can you enlighten us about that?
Sure. Somerville, once again, was chosen as the one of the 100 best communities for young people by the American Promise Foundation, and we're very proud of that. It's really a demonstration of not just the positive things that the school is doing, but probably more so about what's happening in our city. Our current mayor, Joseph Curtatone, has rebuilt our playgrounds.
Wow.
We're working to beautify the city. There's lots of activities for residents of all ages. But Joe, having 4 young children, the mayor is really focused on schools and youth.
Yes.
And the result of it is, for the 3rd year, we've been named one of the 100 best communities for youth in the country.
I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Because I'm a Somerville girl, so it's just like, I'm in Arlington, but I like Somerville.
Well, Arlington
it's such a community.
is a neighbor, so
it's
we
our
share
neighbors.
lots of things.
Yes, Somerville has so much, to offer, and it's like the community bilinguals, and I was involved in so many different things when I was.
It's really an amazing, diverse community,
it sure
and the
is.
community supports schools and youth to really an amazing degree. Obviously, in the last few years, there have been many financial challenges for cities and towns, and the Somerville Board of Aldermen and the school committee, the mayor, my staff have really gone out of their way to try to keep things together and not take a step backwards. So, and they are to be applauded for that, because they realize how important services to all residents, but particularly the youth of our city.
Yeah, speaking about diversity, what do you know about the Massachusetts Partnership Diversity in Education?
The Massachusetts Partnership in Diversity in Education is a new title for a project that's been around for over a decade. It used to be called the Affirmative Action Consortium.
Okay.
What we do, the members of it get together and we talk with representatives of the minority community about how we can recruit minority educators. In Somerville, that's one of the major goals of the school committee.
Okay.
And we've actually increased the number of minority educators in our school district by about a 4-fold. Now, we still have a very low percentage, much lower than we should have, but we're working very hard on it. And when we advertise that multilingual or polylingual staff members are being sought. And, of course, minority applicants get a real heavy look about with their credentials, because we know that students look to teachers as role models. So, and we know our student population is diverse, so we want diverse role models for them.
Yeah, like you said, it's like a recruiting program.
It is a recruiting program.
Okay.
And we learn from the experts.
Yeah, it's a great program.
Yep. One of the things I've done is we have a human resource and diversity administrator, and the last 2 people who have held that position have been minorities who speak either Spanish or Portuguese, and the administrative assistant in our HR department is a Spanish speaker.
Yeah.
So we know that, for example, it may help when someone's applying for a job to have someone
That speaks many languages.
More than just English, to help them feel comfortable, and also to give them direction in a language they may be more comfortable.
Right, to a community like Somerville, for example. That's great. Now I have a question about the nutrition law, the new nutrition law. So what can you tell us about that?
Well, the new nutrition law is giving school districts a year to upgrade the quality of the food in terms of not taste as much as the nutritional value of food, the fat content, the salt content. And in Somerville, we're really noted for our food service department. There are about 620 schools in the United States who have gotten the U.S. Healthier School determination. And that's either a gold, a silver, or a bronze level. We have 4 of the 620 in Somerville. So extremely positively disproportionate.
Right.
So for example, one of the things that school districts are going to have to do in September of 2012 is reduce the fat content of the milk that they serve. We're doing it this year.
Right.
We're going to do it a year ahead of time.
Okay, good.
Because, you know, obesity, particularly in urban areas where kids, you know, don't have a lot of room to run around, they may, you know, they don't work on farms, they may be more confined during the 24 hours of every day. Obesity and good health is a concern. You know, so we're really focused on it. And obviously we have the Shape Up Somerville program, which is a nationally recognized program throughout the city, and we're a major partner in that too.
That's very good.
So you know, bottom line is I think that the law that requires schools to provide healthier beverages and meals, beverages with lower sugar, lower fat, and healthier nutrition is a good idea. Obviously, a parent who doesn't agree with us, they can send their children to school with their own food.
Yeah, yeah. It used to be like this, I think. I don't know. Well, where I'm from, where I went to school, I brought my own food.
Yeah.
Many schools do, you know.
Yeah.
If you're concerned about nutrition.
We serve in excess of 3,000 meals every day. Both breakfast. We have a universal breakfast program that's open to all students, and we serve about 3,000 lunches a day. So that's more than half of our students who use. And of course, we have a free and reduced lunch program for students who are at or below the poverty line, which is a real help to parents. Unfortunately, many of our students get their main meals at school, you know, breakfast and lunch. That
brought in mind, do you have in high school, do you have a cooking class or maybe something, like a chef would come in and do some type of training and do some type of food?
Well, because we're a vocational high school, in addition to you know, an academic and preparatory high school, we actually have a culinary arts program. That's good. So in our vocational program, we actually have a 4-year program where students can learn to be chefs, to be kitchen workers, to be managers of restaurants and food service.
Hospitality.
Yeah,
that's good.
The food service industry.
Yeah.
Many of our students go on to technical college, you know, like Johnson and Wales, or other schools that are noted for food service and the food industry. So we have that, and in our health department, of course, we teach about nutrition, as most school districts do, and it's really, you know, there's like a balance. You know, what you put into your body. If you burn, you know, the more exercise you get, the more calories you burn, and therefore, you know, you're in balance. That's good. And if you have to lose a little weight, what you try to do is do a little bit more exercise. But we certainly don't prescribe to, nor do we support, you know, crash diets or diets like that. It's just good healthy nutrition and a very active lifestyle makes for a very healthy student who can study better and learn better.
Learn better, you know.
Because that's what it's all about.
Yes, I agree. Now I have I want to talk about the foundations that you have at the school. I was reading about one of them there. It's called Buy One Brick.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that is an amazing project.
Yeah, we are blessed in Somerville. We have, as I said, the community supports education. We have a very active nonprofit called the Somerville High School Scholarship Foundation. And they give over $100,000 worth of scholarships to students every year. And in addition to that, they have fundraisers to support their activities. And one of them that they've devised over the winter is called the Buy a Brick.
Oh gosh, I like that.
So what we're doing is we're taking an area near our high school that has brick walkways, and we're replacing those bricks with bricks that people with their names or their family names. There's a limited number of letters that can be used on a brick, and then we're going to take a blank brick out and put this brick in permanently.
Wow.
And the bricks are $120 a piece, and $100 of that will go, a minimum of $100 of the $120 will go towards scholarships for Somerville High School youth.
I want a brick.
You can buy one. I'll make sure
I think it's a great project.
I'll make sure I send you an application for one. But our students also compete for an amazing array of scholarship. The Somerville High School class of 2011 earned, and I do mean earned, because it's hard work to be a good student, to go to school every day and to do your classes and do all your studying and pass the test. They earned $1.5 million worth of college scholarships.
Oh my
just
goodness.
The class of 2011.
Oh, that's incredible.
It really is, and it's a testament to our community and also our colleges in the area who do give us scholarships. We have scholarships at Harvard and particularly Tufts, but many colleges give our students scholarships that they earn. And of course we have the Rotary Club, the Lions Club, a lot of support for our students too, because in today's economy, first of all, colleges are getting very, very expensive. A private school in the Boston area every year is over $50,000 a year. I know. And of course, with the economy the way it is, many of our parents, have limited income.
No?
Yeah. So
it's good to have that.
We're really blessed.
Yeah, in Somerville. That's great.
Great student body too. Great students. They work hard, and
they do.
We're thrilled that we can reward that hard work by helping them go on to that next stage of their life. A two-year college, a community college, a technical school, a four-year college or university. It really doesn't matter where they go as long as they keep moving.
They keep moving. That's the thing with Somerville student. I noticed that.
Yeah.
They don't want to stop.
Yeah.
Which is good.
That's not stopping is really a secret to success for all of us.
Yeah, it's always room for education. Now tell us about your TV program for Somerville community.
Well, on Channel 15, which is a local public TV station, I host a show every other week. Our biweekly show is called Our Schools, Our City. And we have guests like you every show. We try to really get our administration, we try to get our teachers, but most of all, we try to have student guests who can really tell the community about the education, and the community wants to hear from students.
Of course.
They know that I'm going to say good things. I'm the superintendent. That's part of my job, is to say good things about schools.
Yeah.
It just means so much more when it comes from either a teacher or especially a student who says, I came here, I was worried, but you know what? We had a show about 2 months ago where successful seniors came who actually had just graduated, came on and gave some advice to incoming freshmen on the TV show.
Oh, okay.
And basically it was, pay attention, start off strong, do your homework, go to school every day, and everything will be fine.
Yes.
And again, that's
good
advice for
another student. Yeah, it's good advice. It's very good.
So it may not be as exciting as your show, but we have fun, and as I said, we're on bi-weekly, and then we play the tapes at about 7 or 8 times in the 2 weeks.
That's great. I think that would be helpful, contributing to student education, and because they want to be there to talk about their school education and
Actually, I think our
others.
=1 audience are parents and grandparents,
Wow.
particularly grandparents.
Oh, they
they-
sit and watch
you know,
the
they want to
kids.
know what their grandchildren are doing, or they want to know, what is going on in the city with education, and
That's
they can sit
great.
home and find out some things.
Oh, that's excellent. I should tell my family to watch it. They still live in Somerville.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're on
yeah.
Channel 15.
Okay, that's great. Would you like to share with my viewers anything possible, like positive to the student here? If there's any young student and then watching this show, you like to leave us with a positive few words for them about education?
Oh, absolutely. I come from a background that education was really unheard of. My father worked in a factory. I think he went to 3rd grade. And I think that education is the way for any resident in America, whether you're a student who's mandated to go to school, or, for example, we have our SCALE program, which educates over 750 adults every year. But education is a way to improve yourself and to really make your dreams come true. I know for me, it happened. When I was a young man, I would have never dreamed that I would be a superintendent of schools. Wow. And it came true because,
You keep going.
one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
You just work hard. You have to go to school, first of all. You have to show up every day. I once had a professor tell me, I hope you come to every class, because the class you miss may be the class that all the things you're learning finally make sense. It
That's
comes
right.
together and makes sense.
That's right.
And you never know when you're going to have that one day that things click,
Yeah.
that the things you've been learning start to make sense for you. So going to school every day is critical. And if you're having difficulty in schools or in the community, there are many, many people who want to help a student, who want to help a youth. I mean, those of us who are in education are not there because we're going to get rich.
Yes.
That just doesn't happen in the education business. Every teacher, every paraprofessional, every bus driver, they're there to help children and young adults. So if you need help, ask for it.
Yes.
That's really important. And just keep plugging along. It doesn't help when you go to school and you don't do your homework. You have to do your part.
Yeah.
The teachers will do their part, the parents will do their part, and the students have to do their part, and the community will do its part.
Everyone.
And as a team, it'll work. So that's my advice.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for coming to the show.
You're very welcome. Thank you for inviting me. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.